All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back. This is Be a Warrior podcast, and I'm Angie. And I wanted to just welcome you here. If you're new, welcome. And I really hope that something that I have to say on this personal journey of mine helps you get through something maybe you're going through. A lot of times I do speak to being an amputee. That is something that I am 4.5 years into now. This is season 3 of the podcast. So if you haven't heard some of the other podcasts, please go back and visit. There's some great interviews, but a lot of it is just personal journey and how I try to be as transparent as possible. Well, this is one of those days. I wasn't even sure I was going to record this week because even at 4.5 years out, the journey is still the journey. And good days come and good days go, and bad days come right up behind and try to make sneak attacks. And this last weekend, I pushed myself pretty hard, which is not uncommon. The reason that I actually amputated my leg was so I could get back to living my life. And I have, and I do, but I try not to let anything stop me. But I thought that I would just kind of delve in because I think it's really important that people are real. There are a lot of you new amputees or people that are just going through it, just getting ready to go through it. And all you're seeing on social media is all these like rock star athletes and rock star everybody doing everything they possibly can. But I want you to know that there are some truths to what really lies behind the smile and the great moment of a picture or a quick video of doing something amazing. And yeah, I have those too, because there's a point in time, the first year or two, you're just darn proud of yourself for everything you've gone through and what you can do. But there's something to be said about being transparent so that those coming up behind us in the ranks and becoming amputees now need the hard truth and the fact that this is a journey. And I've had some very good talks with a lot of women lately who are just getting into the fitting phase, and they're realizing that they are now in one of the hardest parts of becoming an amputee. It really, for most people, the mental game of getting over becoming an amputee is very hard, but the physical game is just beginning when you start getting to the healing process, to the fitting process. And I have to tell you that once you get past 2 or 3 years, yeah, your fitting is better, but that doesn't mean you don't have bad days. And I was there today, actually starting last night, and it was just total suckiness. That's all I can say. It sucked. And I wanted to tell you because as much as you've seen probably some of the things I've done and accomplished, and yeah, I've done a lot, that doesn't mean that I am not still struggling sometimes. And the only way for other people to get better at going through what we're going through, or any medical issue that you were trying to hurdle, is to know the reality and the reality check that comes with it. And so today is about reality checks. The fact is, I'm 4.5 years out. I'm 14 or 15 sockets in, and the 14 was literally for the first 3 years. This one that I have on now, I've had for almost a year, which is huge. But I have a new one coming on Thursday because this one, I think, is just worn. Kind of like a good pair of shoes. They eventually get worn and then they don't fit well. That's kind of how I am right now after just about a year. So with that being said, I do know that I'm hitting nerves that I don't normally hit in my socket. And occasionally I piss off something that makes me not be able to sleep or feel good. And I like to keep going. So last night, I don't know what I did, but I can guarantee you what has given me the worst pains ever in my residual limb, and I would call them phantom pains, not sensations. I have sensations every day, all day. Phantom pains is feeling like someone's taken a knife or an ice pick into your foot or your shin and just beating you up with it. And over time, it feels like it's really happening and you're raw. Well, last night, what I've noticed with mine is if I hurt my lower back, like somewhere in my sciatic nerve, and something pinches there, it wreaks havoc on my residual limb and phantom pain. And I think last night was one of those nights because it was one of those moments where I started to feel really high tingling in the foot that's not even there, and went to go brush my teeth and take my contacts out, got back to bed and went, this is not going to be good. And sure enough, it was the jolting phantom pains that would literally make me a knee-jerk reaction with no leg there, but you're trying to pull it away from whatever that pain is, like you're stepping on a knife and you want to pull it away. And it will hit me, I could have it hit 3 or 4 times in a minute. And so you can imagine how long my night was. And I was also not feeling well either, and I was having stomach cramps. So you put those things together and it just beat me up last night. I didn't sleep. I was constantly moving in bed. I was trying to get up, walk around my crutches, get back to bed, whatever it was. And then every time I get up, the dogs wanted in bed with me. And I'm like, no, because I'm going to be moving again. And so that was last night. When I finally did kind of doze off at like 6 this morning, when I did wake up at 6:30, 6:40 with pain, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the longest day. Now, I was planning on going down early to fish. That's what I wanted to do. We were up at the cabin. I wanted to fish. I wanted to do it one more time before we came home. Because as you can see, if you're watching my YouTube channel, I'm back home again, not at the cabin. And I just wanted to do that. Well, it takes a lot for me to say no on something I want to do. I knew I did not have it in me. But I'll tell you, I want to take you through what it's like when I got up and I knew I should just get up and get moving, because for me, movement is key. I have to get moving. If I lay and think about it, all it does is hurt more and more and more. So the first thing I did was change. The second thing was I grabbed my bag and my socket, my leg, and went, okay, we're getting you on. I was not excited about it because I knew what it was going to feel like trying to put it in, and it hurt so bad trying to put it in. And my first attempt in was okay, but every step the phantom pain would shoot. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. Then my husband had to have a call, so I thought, I'm just going to go in the bedroom and I'm going to lay down. But if you are an amputee and you have a leg, laying down to relax with a big, huge leg on does not feel great. So for the first time ever, at like 9 o'clock, I took my leg off. And I laid there, and sure enough, still phantom pains, kicking. I finally texted my husband and say, let me know when you're off because I need to get out of this room. And put my leg back on, walked around a little bit, tried to get out and get some fresh air, some sunshine, right? Something good for me, make me feel happy, seeing the sun, feeling the wind on my face. Sat outside with my dogs, the little one chasing around lizards that were hiding. And finally went back in, and I looked like someone had taken me 3 rounds in a boxing ring. I was so beat up and tired. And I just said to my husband, I said, I'm just going to go sit on the chair here. Now, if you know me, I'm not a nap person at all. Not at all. And so I sat down on the chair, pulled my leg up. The pain was excruciating. So I propped my leg up so my foot was as close to my butt as I could make it with my prosthetic limb, and kind of let it ooze to the side a little bit till I could find some place that was comfortable. And once I found a bit of comfort, I was out. I was out cold. And I don't think I've ever done that, but I had the door open. I could hear the breeze and the birds, and it was just beautiful out. And so I finally got 30 minutes of sleep in, which did me wonders, power nap. And I'll tell you what, that was what I needed. And I got up, still not feeling great, still hurting inside, still having the phantom pain, but kept moving around. Got the house cleaned up for us to take off and come back down here. And by the time I got to the car to drive, the only feeling I had was intense burning in my foot as I sat there driving my car for almost 2 hours. And that wasn't bad. I could deal with that over the sharp pains. And here we are. But I have to tell you, in all that time, I'm so tired right now. So if you see this video, you might see wow, you look tired. I am so tired. I'm I cannot wait to hit the sack tonight and praying that I get some good sleep. But I wanted to just be real with you because, I know so many of you are out there, you're getting fitted, and it's so frustrating because it's not your socket's not fitting right, or there's an infection, or you have to wait because of this and wait because of that. And it's trying. It really is. And if you're not an amputee, a lot of people probably think, as I probably did 4.5 years ago, that the amputation was going to be the hardest part on me. And in reality, the amputation was easy. I had no idea what lied ahead and the challenges that I was going to face trying to get through some day-to-day, dealings. And it's not all the time, but you need to know, and maybe this is not a good thing to tell you, but you don't go unscathed. Just because you get through the first 2 years doesn't mean you're scot-free. Now, some people will tell you, I've been an amputee for 50 years, I still get phantom pains or phantom sensations. I've had some people say, I've never gotten it, and then one day called me and going, is this what this feels like? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, holy cow, that is horrible. And they got it for the first time after 20 years. And so, we're all in different places and we all go through different things. But the reality check is, don't assume that once you do the amputation that everything is going to be the quick part of the journey. You have to earn it, is what I said. You have to earn. And the more you have to work for it and the more you have to earn it, the more proud you're going to be of yourself. Because when I was going through what I was going through today, I kept thinking of a bunch of people that I know are struggling really hard right now with their new amputation. And I'm like, you can do this. This is nothing. This is a small roadblock for today. You will get through this, and you owe it to them to be stronger. But there is a time when we do need to sit back and take care of ourselves, as a good friend told me. And, that was me today. Because like I said, I don't sit down and take naps, because that's like usually the worst thing for pain for me, is to sit, because I can't sit still long enough. But it was definitely needed. It gave me perspective. It gave me time to think. And I really am looking forward to going to bed tonight, I have to tell you. But with that being said, it's a game of give and take. It is a long journey that no one wants to tell you that, because you don't want to give a negative connotation to it, but it's not easy. And I always tell people that say, I really thought I was going to get my socket and start walking. And, they'll say, well, you did. And yeah, I did. And I'll tell you that story. I got my socket one Thursday or Friday afternoon. And it was weird feeling, of course, because you're putting something huge and heavy and you haven't had anything on your leg. You lost all that weight from the amputation. Then you put on this thing that's the same weight as the leg you lost, maybe even some more. And you're trying to now walk around with this clunky thing. Well, I was able to walk out through the bars, parallel bars, made some adjustments, and I walked out with my cane, I believe. Yeah, I had my cane. The next day we had something with baseball, and I was trying to get through my kids' parking lot. And I remember that very vividly, because I was so afraid. Some days it would bend, some steps it would bend, my knee would bend, some steps it would lock up and I'd be stuck. And then I had to get over gravel for the first time. That was the very next day. I had not had PT because I was going to go away on vacation the very next day and be gone for a week. And what I chose to do was, knowing my stubbornness and my high tolerance for pain, I just thought, you're going to wear it every day, all day in California. Wherever you guys go, you're going to put it on in the morning and you're going to walk with it and you're going to go. And I think I had my cane throughout that whole time, just for balance. And I just remember bruising the crap out of my leg. So yeah, I did walk right away, and I was in my socket literally from morning to night for 7 days straight before I went to a PT, and they showed me the right way to walk. So it wasn't like the most brilliant plan I had, but it did give me a really solid dose of what I could tolerate and what my body could handle and what I don't ever want to do again. And that's go without the knowledge of a good PT. So that being said, when people say but you walked right away. Yeah, I did. I walked a whole week with it, and I never looked back from that. Once I learned how to walk that day in PT, it stayed on morning to night, morning to night. I've never done, like I said, taking it off today at 9 o'clock in the morning was unheard of for me, unless it was on wrong. But I don't normally take it off to deal with pain, because pain usually comes back for me when it's off. But each journey is different, and each person can tolerate different things, and each person became an amputee for a different reason. Some of us chose it, like me. So we didn't have the trauma, the mental trauma that went with it as much as someone, let's say, that was in an accident, or someone who dealt with cancer and that was the only thing they could do to save themselves. So each one of us is going through something different, but what I can tell you is the fitting process is filled with ups and downs. The feeling of phantom pain or phantom sensation come and go as they please, whenever. I don't even know what triggers them. For me, I know it's if I pinch my back. That I know for a fact. If I do too much and my back gets weak and I pinch my back, I'm going to be out. But you don't know that. It took me 4 years to figure that one out after just making mental notes and really paying attention to what was happening in my body. But like I said, you don't know until you know. And going through this, I just want you to have perspective, because it is important to have perspective on this. And it is important to know that even the people that you think are rocking it and they've got it easy, they still stumble and fall. I may have done a million things in my 4 years with my prosthetic, but I can't tell you how many times I've been in pain. So don't take what someone else is doing, and I've done a whole podcast on comparison is a thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You are you. What can your body take? What can your body tolerate? If you're in a hospital right now with an infection, then of course you're not going to do everything that I'm doing. If you've had to deal with wound care for months because your skin won't heal, you will not be able to wear yours right away until you can build that up, and you will build it up. I didn't have to build anything up. Knock on wood, I've not had infections, and I want to keep it that way. But I've never had any skin irritations that have created openings and wounds that would cause a problem. So you need to listen to your body. You need to listen to your mind and your heart. And when you need a break, you need a break. But don't forget to get right back up on that horse and keep going. And I tell myself today, this is going to pass. This is momentary in my life. This will pass. Some days it's 1 day of it. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 straight days of sleepless nights and lots of pain. But I've never gone more than 5 days. And I know that that will be an end. And 5 days in the scheme of my life is nothing. So for those people that have, speared me along and helped me realize that about myself, thank you. For the friends that I have recently made, this one's for you, because you are in a part of your journey that is hard. Own that. It's hard. It's not for the weak. It's not for the faint. And you have to have some sort of grit to get through the fitting process, the movement process, the learning process. You are learning to walk all over again. And you're not gonna be able to run till you learn to walk. And walking begins with 1 step at a time. So what I'd love for you to do is give yourself that perspective. I haven't really done a call to action lately. I've noticed that the last few times I've signed off and gotten out of here. But, I would just say that for a call to action this week is to know yourself, right? Remember to listen to yourself. You know yourself better. If something doesn't feel right, address it. If you are feeling like you are beat up and worn out and you need to close your eyes for a few minutes, then do it. Do not be afraid to take a break and step back. And that's coming from a type A personality who never does that. And I did it today, and it helped me get through the rest of the day. So call to action, just get to know yourself and know what's causing things to happen in your body so that you can better address them as you go through your journey. I hope this helped you. I know that I have been fortunate enough to surround myself with the right kind of people that have helped me know myself better, who have been there for me in hard times, and have allowed me to let my hair down, so to speak, and be real, so that I don't have to put on a facade that I know all and am all and have done all and I'm unscathed from pain, because that's not the case at all. And I want you to know, being transparent is one of my greatest things that I deal with, is so people know the real story. It's not always glamorous, and it doesn't always go the way you think it's going to go. And that's okay. What isn't helpful is not getting yourself back up and trying again. So you're going to have a bad day. You're going to get laid out at times. You're going to have the mental break. You're going to have the emotional break. Sometimes the physical pain is going to be too much for you. Stop, take a long deep breath, understand that this is just a moment in the journey, and then get ready to march onward. Because it's the only way you're going to get through it to the other side and look back and say, I did that. Whoa, I did that. So be proud of yourself where you're at for what you're doing right now, and you will make huge gains as you go. But baby steps and just keeping it real. And until next time, y'all, be healthy, be happy, be you.